so many bright and talented people around you, and you can not only look for partners or investors, you can also just exchange experiences and see how it's working in another organization, and it just feels like 2 days party for me here, which is like, of course valuable, but still.
What is the main goal for you while here? Are you looking mostly for investors? Are you looking for partners? Are you just looking for clients? What is it?
I think we are mostly looking for the partnership because we are now expanding in Europe and Asia. So what we need is the good partners who can introduce us to the banks. That's our main goal. And of course, just exchanging experiences with other fintech startups. We were attending a Nordea Fintech Night on Wednesday, for example. It was really valuable because it was a lot of fintech startups presented, and we saw the pitching competition, which was also great to hear what kind of new solutions people are offering.
All right. And when looking for partners, I assume you're doing it via the matchmaking tool. Do you have any tricks? What's the thing how a potential partner will drag your interest?
This is actually a very good and interesting question because I'm working with Dmitry, who is our founder, and there is also Darren, who is a director from London. And they have such a different approaches, as I noticed, because Darren is getting more straight to the point what we can offer to the banks or to investors, and Dmitry is doing it a bit different way. He's more going from the discussion on like, let's discuss how we can help each other. So it's a bit different approach. And I worked more with Darren, so I started a little bit with Darren approach. But then I think the Dmitry approach worked much better after all, and we got a lot of good meetings, and investors are very responsive, and I think just as an advice, we haven't done much mistakes, but it's really good to check the investor or bank profile before going on a meeting or scheduling a meeting. So
basically it's about being prepared and offering some kind of cooperation rather than here's money, here's product, kind of how you can help each other.
Yes, apparently this scheme worked much better after all. So and just to mention, if, for instance, investors or banks are interested, they always ask for extra information. So this way, like, communication goes much more smoothly instead of just pushing the message like hard. It's better to go a bit from softer side and say like, let's discuss potential work opportunities.
And are you gonna watch the pitching competition finals today?
We will try. We have several meetings overlapping, but let's see what we can do.
I guess at that point I can only wish you good luck with your day 2 at Slush. It was a fun interview. It's always great to hear that. Well, it's always great to talk to someone from a bit different field than before. We started with sustainability, now we go to fintech, and I don't remember what else we have today, but it's going to be something again from a bit different field. Thank you very much, Ekaterina, for this interview. And our listeners, of course, don't see it, but Dmitry is taking the control over the situation silently from the corner. So thank you both for being here with us in the media lounge of Slush, and have a great and productive day.
Great, thank you. It was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Hello, Ville and Pauliina. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Okay. Hi, my name is Pauliina Alanen. I work as a communications and marketing lead at Silo AI.
And hi, my name is Ville Hulkko. I'm one of the founders of Silo AI.
So, what is the product of Silo AI?
Okay, so Silo is, it's actually currently the largest private AI lab in the Nordics, which means that we build and design tailored AI solutions for various types of organizations. So we work with anything ranging from central banks to airlines, automotive, media, all the way to advertising, and basically figure out where AI is needed, build it, and bring it into production.
Well, I have a belief that there is only a very narrow range where AI can be used. Would you prove me wrong?
Yes, I love to prove you wrong, because the way that I actually see it is, it's actually exactly the other way around. The really interesting thing about AI is that it's applicable to almost any kind of a problem or any kind of a data feed that you want to start solving. Because one of the core things of machine learning is the ability for a computer to start understanding data feeds, if you will, that were previously limited to human eyes and ears only. So by using AI, we can actually take pictures and video and turn that into data. We can take speech and text and audio and turn that into data. And basically doing this unlocks the door to using anything that a human worked with before and bringing process automation into that.
Wow, now I'm scared that the technology will substitute human in the job market.
Well, actually, we are building AI for people. So we believe in these human in the loop solutions that we are building. So basically, anything that has machine learning can help people perform better at their jobs. And currently, we have a lot of data in any industry, in any field. And we humans are not naturally good with treating numeric data, for instance. So why not have a machine support that and give you insights based on that? So AI is actually helping us humans, like Ville already mentioned, with natural language processing and computer vision. We can have different kinds of interfaces into technology with speech to text and computer vision, when we can actually, in an easier way, more human suitable way, work and be more efficient in that.
Got that part, thank you. What are you looking for at Slush? Is it partners or investors or some other kind of cooperation?
We have had some media interviews like this one, so we are also looking for like coverage. Then we have had many, let's say, a bit earlier stage discussions. Our clients are typically quite big companies, both abroad in Sweden, in Germany, other countries in Europe, but also in Finland. So yeah, we are looking for clients and partners, but yeah, this is all about, meeting new people also from the organizations where we are already working, but meeting some other heads of departments and where we could kind of expand our relationship with that client.
And how do you search for the right person to meet?
Basically, I think with matchmaking, I used just a few simple filters and then I went through everyone that I saw. So yeah, I think my tip would be just to start that as early as possible. So when the matchmaking opens, going through, and also in addition to the matchmaking profile, if you have time, checking the LinkedIn profile so that you truly understand if somebody seems like a good fit for you to meet, then also getting in touch perhaps via LinkedIn already in advance.
Keep it short, keep it sweet when you contact people. Don't write your entire business pitch into it and try to explain in 3 paragraphs what is it that you want to get out of it. Focus on having a profile that's actually interesting, and in as few words as possible, try to understand why is it that you want to meet a person.
What are your feelings about Slush 2019 in general?
It's been very exciting. It's my first time I was here in 2013, so I've been here quite many times. Slush really gives you a good view on everything that's happening in any field of technology over the entire world. So basically any field, be it like the medical field, health tech, like yesterday we heard Mikko Hyppönen from F-Secure talking about AI, something that like comes perhaps from a field that you don't necessarily follow every day, but you get a really good glimpse to everything that's happening during these 2 days, because I think the curators of the program, they have done a really good job, and that attracts really talented and interesting people to join this event, and then you can meet them and chat with amazing people who are doing great things.
So for me, this is my 6th year in Slush now in a row. And I suppose Slush is also going through a bit of a metamorphosis as well. So, back in the day, in the original days of Slush, it was much more focused on matching startups with investors. Investment was the key, which is maybe a little bit of a narrow way to approach the world. But, today, this year, the last year, it's been much, much, much more focused on doing actual business, getting those business connections in and starting those conversations, which is really, really good.
Right, and what are your expectations about day 2 and your plans maybe?
Well, I'm actually also volunteering at Slush, so I will be interviewing at the Soaked by Slush studio, VC Juri Engström, and then founder Zem Joaquin from the Bay Area. So I'm very excited to be doing that in just a half an hour.
Yeah, for me, there's still a couple of people that I'm hunting down, and we've kind of agreed to meet them still. So I think we'll actually manage to squeeze in a few extra business connections from the last hours here.
Right. Thank you very much for this interview, Ville and Pauliina. Let's wrap it up this way. Could you both add one more thing to what you've said before? It can be a wisdom, it can be a call to action, whatever.
Okay. It's been great chatting with you. I think anyone who is interested in AI should go to our website, silo.ai, and check out the use cases. We try to cut the hype around machine learning and everything that is kind of taking a bit too much of a stance in the media in general. So if you're interested in hearing out what we are actually doing with our clients here in Europe and in Finland, especially also in the Tampere area, so I would highly suggest to go there.
Yeah, I gotta say, Tampere is a really, really strong city in terms of AI. I don't think a lot of people actually realize what kind of research is being done at Tampere. So if you're interested in hopping on board the AI train, choo-choo, first look up Silo AI, but then also go to your local university and figure out what is actually being researched at Tampere today.
Thank you very much. And now we're having our last, but definitely not the least, guest for the 2 days of Slush and our special recording. I should slow down talking and give the voice to him. Hello, Dylan.
Thank you for having me.
Could you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. My name is Dylan Field. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Figma. Figma is a collaborative design tool. So it's a tool that you can use to create interface design with your entire team. One thing we've seen over the course of the last 7 years or so as we've worked on Figma, we started in August 2012, is that design is really changing around the world. And the rise of the designer, I think, is impacting every organization. As our entire economy becomes increasingly digital, it's more important than ever for everything to be well designed. And it's no longer sufficient just to build something. I think with the rise of the cloud, with the rise of app stores, of no-code, low-code tools, now it's easier than ever to just build. But if you don't design something well, you'll lose the competition. It's critical in order for businesses to succeed. And so we're actually seeing the number of designers catch up with that reality. IBM, for example, when we started Figma in 2012, IBM had 72 engineers to every one designer across the company.
That's quite a minority.
It's a bit of a minority. 5 years later, in 2017, IBM had 8 engineers to every one designer. Across the company, on mobile, it was 3 to 1. So it's a radical shift, and we're actually seeing that across many companies, that sort of 6 to 1, 8 to 1 ratio now. And some people are even trying to get more ambitious and get more design talent in the door. But as you get all these people that are participating in the design process at scale, the problems get more intense. And the applications we've had for all this time that are these single-player offline tools are breaking. Instead, we have to move to collaborative workflows that make it so that you can work with your entire team. So the designers can work with engineers, product managers, marketing, and more. That's what Figma is trying to do.
Even as an audio person rather than visual, I cannot but notice and understand the change in importance. Dylan, do you happen to remember how have you come up with the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always thought that design tools need to be better. I worked at Flipboard as an intern before I started Figma with my co-founder. And at first, we were looking at all sorts of different tools that were using this technology called WebGL. WebGL is a way to use the GPU in your computer in the browser. As we explored the implications of WebGL, we thought, okay, it's now possible to take any creative tool and put it in the browser. So we looked at a variety of creative tools first before interface design, but eventually got back to interface design. And it was always something that we wanted to do. It was sort of like third on our list of things to explore. When we finally got to the point where we explored it, we realized, oh my gosh, not only is this like the most technically interesting problem we could tackle, it's also this incredibly interesting design challenge as well. Because it's very meta, but you're designing a tool for designers. And so to do that, you have to really focus and understand what the designer needs, their key workflows. And if you get it wrong, they will tell you. And so it's a really interesting, unique product challenge. And then on top of that, we started to realize, like we were talking about just now, that the entire market for design is growing at this exponential pace. And it's becoming, I think in the future, we might see even a 1-to-1 ratio of designers to developers.
So the needs has created the market, so there are more and more young and hungry companies designing their apps. How do you tackle the competition? Basically, what do you do to stay the best?
Got it. Well, so we're definitely the challenger right now. I mean, I think that if you look at the ecosystem, there's a few relevant players. One is obviously Adobe, which has had a 3-decade monopoly on the creative tool space, and it's time that that's broken up. I think another one is Sketch, which has been a up-and-coming tool that's risen. We're not really seeing Adobe being used very much. I think they kind of lost touch when it comes to what interface designers need. But Sketch and the entire ecosystem around Sketch is very rich and interesting. And the Sketch team is, by the way, brilliant. I like them quite a bit, even though they're our competitor.
It's normal, I guess.
I mean, we're both, I think, look, at the end of the day, the most important thing when you think about competition is that the designer has the tools they need. I'm thrilled that finally, back in 2012 when we started Figma, there were no options. You could use Adobe or you could use Adobe. Now we actually have options. The tool makers are challenging each other